Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This one is late, very late. I know I'm a little behind, but I just got a little busy, but expect more videos for sure to come. So, this episode, I wanted to talk about my college basketball experience. I was on the phone with my best friend, who I'm sure you guys will meet sooner or later, recently, and we were just going back and thinking about our college experience specifically in basketball and how crazy it is. If you're not a college athlete yourself, it is hard to understand the love-hate relationship that a student athlete has with their sport. Now, I would never take back any experiences that I had. All the running, the waking up at 5 a.m., the loss, the wins, the people I've met. I wouldn't take it back. I would redo it all again if I could. But sometimes I think back at my college experience and I'm like, what was I doing? Like, I can't believe some of the things that I was going through. So let's take it back to freshman year at Young Harris College. Shout out Young Harris College. Shout out the people specifically at Young Harris College that I've met. I love that small school. I'll have to do another episode on what it was like to be at a D2 because going from a D2 to a D1, the differences were crazy. Like some of the things you guys might actually be like, did you actually, like, there's no way this actually happened. So back to freshman year, move-in day. Let's just say that. Let's start there. Move-in day, I move in. I'm really excited. Now, I have to set the scene for this because if you play college sports, you'll understand. I was not recruited by the coach I had all 4 years. So I was recruited by a different coach the summer going into my freshman year, right before I literally get on campus. He calls me up and he tells me he's not going to be coaching no more. That's a whole nother story. So I have to go meet this new college coach that did not recruit me, doesn't know who I am. I don't know who she is. And I have to go meet her, and I'm with my roommate at the time. This might be second day on campus. Really, it's brand new. And I remember we used to laugh about this all the time. But I remember going into her office for the first time, meeting her, and we're talking, and we're getting to know each other, and I'm with my roommate, and I remember she was like, "Oh, do you guys have any questions for me?" And I said, What's the running gonna look like? Like, what's the running situation? What's the conditioning?" And she just looked at me and laughed and was kind of like, "Oh, like we're gonna work out for sure." Da, 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 da. Now looking back on it, we worked out. But hey, she kept her promise. We worked out for sure. But you got to understand, I was super nervous because I was a freshman and I knew college basketball. You can argue with your mama on this one. College basketball probably has the most running than any other sport, opposed from probably track and field and cross country, obviously. But college basketball, and you have to run in college basketball. Like, come on, Kins, don't be an idiot. But it was just really funny to look back on after going through those 4 years of hell. That was like one of my first questions was, what was the running like? But I was nervous. I knew, because I knew in the back of my head, I knew what was about to happen, I think. And I wanted some, I rather be told, I want to be mentally prepared for what I was about to experience. I didn't know what I was about to experience, but the more information I could get, the better I would feel about what I was about to be going through. Now, for those of you that don't know, at the D2 level, you don't have summer workouts. I mean, they give you a packet to do workouts for, but you don't have to go to school, and there's no mandatory summer workouts. So you have all summer. And preseason, you have like this short window of a week when you get back to school. You have a week until that following Monday, practice starts, first practice. And as a college athlete, you have NCAA hours. We were only allowed 8 hours a week for that time period until I think October, November, until practice time actually starts. Then it bumps up to 20 hours. So you have 8 hours a week, and 4 of those hours are dedicated to the weight room. So you only have 4 hours of basketball to, practice with your team and get ready. And you might think, Kens, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of basketball. Yeah, you would think that's not a lot of time. You would think until your ass is on that baseline running at 6 a.m., right? So, first day of preseason, well, we have a meeting. We have a team meeting before preseason starts. I think it was like on Saturday or that, whatever it was. We get handed your binder. You get handed your binder. And, I feel like this is kind of goes for every college basketball player. You always have the binder with the team rules, your schedule, anything you need in there, really. So you get handed the binder and you open it up, and the first thing on it was the conditioning test. The conditioning test was going to be the first thing you did on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Mind you, you had to be on the court ready at 5:45, right? So you have to wake up. And honestly, we were a small campus, so luckily I didn't have to walk really far. I never had to worry about driving. So it was like 5-minute walk, maybe. So I was waking up at 5 a.m. And that was every single day during the week. So Monday through Thursday, we had Fridays off, luckily. Monday through Thursday was 6 a.m. workouts every single day. So 5:45, you had to be on the court, laces up, laced up, be ready to stretch at 5:45. So you can't get into the gym no later than 5:30. And honestly, if you had to get taped and stretch and go see a trainer, you had to get there earlier than that. So I was honestly pushing it, getting ready at 5:00. Like I was walking in that door at 5:30 every day, because you literally just have time to go change, put your shoes on, and get out on the court ready to stretch. So now we get to my welcome to college basketball moment. Now you get the packet of what the conditioning test entails. So I knew I wasn't gonna make it the first time. I was like, I'm gonna try my hardest, but I knew I wasn't gonna make it. And because at the end of preseason, so whoever didn't make it the first time, you run it the first day of preseason, and whoever didn't make it, the last day of preseason, you had to run it again. And if you didn't run it again, you wasn't getting your practice uniform. So it was just like stressful from the jump, because for some of those that didn't make it, it was like, okay, I know, but at least you knew you had time to get in shape. And by then, everybody passed it. But that first day, oh boy, that first day, I think I called my parents up and I was like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me, man. And it's just so funny looking back on it, because those workouts, that was my welcome to college basketball. Like, oh, y'all are serious about this. Like, now we ran a lot in high school too, though. I was opposed to running. We ran a lot in high school. It wasn't like we didn't do anything, but the way we were running in preseason, my first ever year of college basketball, was a different kind of running that I have ever experienced. So I, don't pass it the first time. It was incredibly hard the first time running it. It got easier after each year we did it, because you know what to do. But that first year, man, yeah, I called my parents up and I was like, I don't think this is for me. I was cramping. I was tired. I thought I was having an asthma attack. It was truly like so hard. And just looking, because like, if you know me, I turned out to be a pretty decent player, but in the beginning, it was so hard. Other than just getting us in shape, it was basically like who was mentally tough enough to like stick this out, because she didn't recruit any of us except for maybe 2 or 3 players, I think, that came in with us. Everybody else was recruited from the old coach. So she had a style of play that was completely different than what some of the girls played that year prior. So her style of play was up and down, and we were going fast, get it out, fast break, fast break, fast break, fast break. And if you wanted to play like that, you got to be in shape like that. So that's what she was preparing us to do. And honestly, after I got in shape, that's the best way to play basketball, in my opinion. Okay, hold on. My brother's calling me. Hello? Hey, you gonna say hey to the episode? Hey to the podcast?
Yo, what's good, podcast?
What's up? Dan, I'm gonna walk you through basically what a day in my life was like freshman year. And this is all the future college hoopers out there know this is what you're in for, and sometimes worse depending on what level you go to. So my freshman year, let's say like a Monday, I would wake up 5 a.m., be on the court, be at the gym 5:20, 5:30. Then I would work out at 6 a.m. to 7:30 every single day. Then after that, I would go to two classes. I would try to go to eat breakfast first, go to two classes. Then after my two classes, I would have weights. And then I usually sometimes had to go back to another class after weights. And then I would finish my days. The only thing nice about early mornings was you would finish your days around like 3:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, depending on how late that class was. So, and then you have not mandatory, it's not mandatory, but you had to get up shots throughout the day as well, on top of your morning workouts with your team, your other team workouts for lifting. And then we had a binder that you had to sign in and out of, if to say that you were in the gym shooting, and write down how many makes you had, how many misses, or how many you had total. So that's a typical day in the life my freshman year. So you could probably guess it hit me like a ton of damn bricks those first couple of weeks. Like, I was like, every time that alarm went off, I was like, damn, do I really want to play college basketball? And I'm laughing about it now, but I was really going through it my freshman and sophomore year. Like, those workouts and the lifestyle was a complete 360 from what I was doing first. Not that I wasn't doing a lot of hard work in high school. It was just different. It was different. And listen, unpopular opinion, but as a low major D1, and I've played at a D2, a lot of good D2 players could play D1 basketball. A lot. I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not talking about your UConns, your Notre Dames, your USCs, them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about their best D2 players could play easily for D1 teams. And this goes for boys too. I have seen boys at the D2 level and boys at the D1 level. And let me tell you something. Some of those boys at the D2 level could give them some work. I'm not going to lie. We had some really good basketball players. The men's team wasn't that good, but we had some good basketball players at my D2 school. And most of them, I think, are pro right now or overseas. But yeah, that's one thing I've always said after playing both is the best D2 players could easily go and play D1, low major, mid major D1. Easy. I've done it. So, it's possible. So during preseason is a lot of work. Preseason is always the worst time in college basketball, in my opinion. Preseason was always the worst because they were the hardest workouts. There was no game to save you, because once you get into season, we played Wednesdays and Saturdays. Like, once you get into season, you start playing so many games. Like, you can't go too crazy in practice. One, for injuries. Two, you need to be able to play those 2 times a week. So it's a lot. So they started lighting up practice a little bit. But preseason, there's nothing to save you in preseason. The only thing that can save you is the fact that the boys are coming on after you, and you just pray that they start to file out, and like you hope your coach sees them as like, okay, it's time to wrap it up. But if there's no one coming in on that floor after you, whether it be men's basketball or volleyball, girl, you could be out there for a long time. We were in the Peach Belt Conference, and most of you probably don't even know what that is. The Peach Belt Conference was a really good Division II conference for basketball, at least for basketball that I know of. We always had 2, maybe 3 nationally ranked teams in our conference every single year. And so you had to, even though we had preseason games, which we had that counted for our record, every single year, it was always a huge emphasis on our conference games because we knew how hard they were going to be. So you only have 8 hours a week, and 4 of those hours have to be lifting. The other 4 can be basketball and conditioning. And let me just say, we used up all 4 hours. I'm not saying if we went over or not, but I'm saying we used up all 4 hours. We got all 4 hours out of those weeks. They were long weeks, but when Friday came along, and you knew you had the weekend off, I might have to have a couple of my friends on the podcast so we could talk about what weekends are like at a small Division II liberal arts school. Because let me tell you something. What you think it's like is what it's like. There was nothing happening. But we found a way. We found a way to make some things happen. But that's a whole different story for a whole nother episode. Preseason lasts about 3 months. So you have 3 months of straight 6 a.m.s, 2-a-day workouts, 6 a.m., sometimes 3, every single day during the week. And so that was hell, but man, you felt so good after it. Preseason was so bad, but it made you get in shape and you feel really good after. But once preseason was over, you could finally start to focus more on your plays, your schemes, personnel. We start watching film and preparing for the games. So now we're getting into college as a whole, college game day. Now, I was pretty decent at my high school. But I was always one of the bigger girls. I'm 6 foot. So as a 6 foot girl, you have this advantage over most of the girls on the court. Sometimes there was some girls that were taller than me. I would say sometimes, not often. But you have an advantage when you're 6 foot, right? And when you're a freshman, you're 18. You come into there playing against girls that at this time were 22. Now, because of COVID and everything, some 18-year-olds poor things are going to have to play against 24-year-olds. That is outrageous. So even the age gap and it is another struggle you have to get through. And I just remember my first couple of games, not even my first couple of games, my first couple of practices. My welcome to college basketball was going up against those girls that were older than me. I was going up as girl. Bro, shout out. This is one girl. I was going up against this girl in practice. She played softball and basketball. She was a dual sport athlete. And she had she was one of those girls that, that looked like she never got tired, could constantly just keep up. And she was so strong. And having a rebound against her was literal hell. Oh my gosh. She was just so strong. She was faster than me because she was smaller. And she had been doing it for so long already. So it was kind of dang, I suck. But your first couple college games, me personally, I felt like that. I don't know about everybody else, but boy, you find out real fast that you're a freshman. You find out real quick that you're a freshman in college basketball. Freshman year was all about learning, I would say. It was amazing. I would do it all over again. One time I got kicked out of practice freshman year Okay, so this one time I got kicked out of practice because I forgot about this. So I can't remember. Yeah, I think this was my freshman year. Okay, yeah. I got kicked out of practice my freshman year because we were running suicides. It was just one of them days. She was like, get on the baseline. We're running. It was part of, we got to get in shape. We're running these suicides. And when I look back on it, I don't know if she was just doing this because I actually did this or she was doing it to like test me and like, make me mentally stronger, as they love to say. We were running suicides and you go, but we were running them, I think, reverse. So we were going baseline to baseline first, baseline to opposite free throw, baseline to half court, baseline to closer free throw. We're running them backwards. And we're running and we're running. And we're almost done with practice. We usually did our running towards the end of practice. We're almost done with practice. And I'm just trying to like, you're dead dog tired. Like I was so tired. So I'm just making it through. I'm like, push, push, push. And it's their time too. And if you miss the time, everybody's got to run it again. It don't matter if you make it or not. If one person on the team misses that time, you got to run it again. So I'm busting my ass trying to make sure I don't make my team run again. And she was like, so boom, I hit the last free throw line. I touched baseline. I'm like, oh, thank God that's done. Oh, yes. Like, but done as in like that one is done. We're not, practice ain't over. We still got to keep running. So she blows the whistle and she's like, Kins, you didn't touch half court. Do it again. And I was like, because y'all, I knew I touched that half court line. Because I was like, why would I run all the way up to the line and not touch it? That doesn't make sense. It'd make more sense if I just skipped touching the half court line. No, why would I run all the way up to half court and not touch it? So I was like, no, I didn't. Because I was like, I shouldn't have talked back. But I was more frustrated than anything because I was like, there's no way. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, yes, I did. And she was like, no, you didn't. Get out. Get out. Get out. What are you talking about? Get out. I was like, get out of practice? I've never been kicked out before. So I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, yeah, get out. Go to the locker room. Like, leave. And I was like, I was stunned. I was looking around at my teammates. I don't even think my teammates knew what to tell me. I was looking around at my teammates and they were like, like, see you later, I guess. So I'm like, ain't no way. Yo, I was so upset. I went back to the locker room. I texted my high school coach. Like, bro, she just kicked me out. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't believe this. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm thinking, like, my life is over with. Like, I'm done for. I just lost my scholarship. Like, this is it. Because y'all got to understand, it was basketball so stressful because basketball is so strict. Being a student athlete, it's so strict. Like, you have these rules to follow. You can't break them. Everybody's going to be watching you. You have these responsibilities that you have to fill. And if you messed up, you were gone. Because there was a couple girls throughout the preseason that got kicked off. And so I'm thinking, and my parents done told me, look, you mess this up, don't come back home because, you got a full ride, don't mess it up. So I was like, yo, I was so sad. I was texting my high school coach. Shout out Coach Hill. I was texting my high school coach, like, what am I going to do? She just kicked me out of practice. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I promise I touched the line. And he texted me back. He was like, Kins, calm down. Like, I've been kicked out of practice before. Like, just go up and talk to her when everything is done. And to make it worse, she kicks me out, right? She kicks me out. I start to walk to the locker room. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not even finishing practice. Like, this is insane. This has never happened to me. I don't even get to finish practice. Boom. Hear the whistle blow. She's like, all right, bring it in. Practice is over. So this woman just kicked me out of practice just to blow the whistle and end practice. I was like, there's no way this is happening. Like, I'm so confused at this point. I'm so confused at this point. I was like, she literally just kicked me out of practice just to end practice. Like, that was insane. And so my coach, my high school coach was like, calm down. Like, you'll be fine. Like, stop being so damn dramatic. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And then not even a few minutes later, they come into the locker room and they're like, hey, coach wants to talk to you upstairs. And I was like, God, oh God, I'm in trouble. I'm in so much trouble. What the hell is going to happen? And she basically just told me, she was like, do you want to play college basketball? And I was like, yeah, of course. She was like, okay, then you got to get in shape. Like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got you. And so then on, I had to, work a little bit harder, but I got in shape. But yeah, that was a crazy situation my freshman year. I remember that so vividly because I was like, I thought I was done for. I thought I was done for. I could have sworn I was done for, but I wasn't. But, I love college athletics, boy. I love college athletics. I would do it all over again. That's my message to anybody who's going into college athletics. Enjoy it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but I would do it all over again. I would. Especially the people you meet, the things you get to experience. It is truly great. But yeah, thanks for listening to me yap again on this second episode. I'm probably going to talk more about my college experience and then keep up more with the basketball world, give you guys some updates on the NBA, WNBA. Unrivaled is happening right now. Great games are going on. I've got a few teams that I'm favoring right now. Great basketball to watch. I'm really excited for the new W season. The free agency stuff that's been going on is crazy. I'm probably going to make a video about that too. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and I hope to see y'all again soon.